Let's be real for a second. You're not lazy, you're not broken, and you're definitely not alone. You've just been lied to. You've been told that to achieve your goals, you need to feel motivated. That if you don't feel like it, then you should wait until you do. That success only happens when inspiration strikes. And that, my friend, is a lie. Motivation is not a lightning bolt from the sky. It's a fleeting emotion. It's unreliable. It shows up when it wants and disappears when you need it most. So if you're sitting there scrolling through your phone, knowing deep down you've got things to do but still can't move, this is for you. Because the truth is, you can win this war against procrastination and you can build habits that stick, even when you feel like crap. But first, let me tell you a story. We all say it. I'll start tomorrow. It's harmless, right? Just a little delay, a little break. You're tired, life's been hard, and you need a breather. But tomorrow is a liar. It's a myth we create to soothe our guilt. And I know this firsthand. There was a time in my life where every single day I'd set 10 goals. Wake up at 5 a.m., go for a run, read 20 pages, eat clean, write my journal, build my business, call my family, be productive. Guess how many I completed? None. Maybe one on a good day. And every night I'd sit there beating myself up. What's wrong with me? Why can't I just get it done? Why am I like this? And I'd promise myself, tomorrow I'll be better. But tomorrow never came because I was chasing the illusion of a perfect day rather than learning how to take imperfect action. Chapter 1, the biggest enemy, the perfect mood. Here's a brutal truth. If you only act when you're motivated, you'll never win. Because the people who succeed, the ones who break free from mediocrity, they don't wait to feel like it. They act in spite of it. You think Kobe Bryant practiced only when he was motivated? You think Serena Williams trained every day because she always wanted to? No. They showed up on days they were tired. They showed up when it was boring. They showed up when it was raining, when it was painful, when no one was watching, especially then. Because they understood something most people don't. Discipline is greater than desire. Chapter 2, Why Procrastination Feels So Safe. Let's unpack why you procrastinate. Because it's not laziness. It's not weakness. It's fear. Fear of failure. Fear of judgment. Fear of not being good enough. When you procrastinate, you're not just avoiding the task. You're avoiding the feeling that comes with it. That anxiety, that doubt, that tiny voice whispering, what if I try and I still fail? So your brain chooses the easier path. Netflix, Instagram, snacks, comfort, and it feels good for a moment. But later, that same guilt creeps in, and then the cycle begins again. Chapter 3, The Myth of Motivation and the Truth of Momentum. Here's what they never taught us in school. Motivation doesn't come before action. It comes after action. Let me say that again. Motivation comes after action. You don't need motivation to get started. You need to get started. To find motivation. That's how momentum works. Think of a train sitting still on the tracks. It takes massive force to get it moving an inch. But once it's moving, it becomes unstoppable. The hardest part is always the first 5 minutes. Not the full workout, not the full task, just the beginning. Chapter 4, The 5-Minute Rule, Hacking Your Brain. Here's a trick that changed my life. It's called the 5-minute rule. Tell yourself this, I'm just going to do this for 5 minutes. That's it. Minutes of writing, minutes of reading, minutes of cleaning, minutes of anything. Once you start, your brain shifts gears. You bypass the resistance. You get into it. You're no longer negotiating with your emotions. You're acting. This trick works because it does one powerful thing. It teaches your brain that action is always more powerful than thought. Chapter 5. Stop waiting to feel ready. Read this next part slowly. You don't need to feel ready to change your life. You don't need to wait for Monday or the first of the month or New Year's Day. Every moment you wait is a moment lost. And guess what? No one's coming to save you. Not a guru, not a YouTube video, not even me. You are the only one who can save yourself. And that begins the moment you stop negotiating with your excuses. Chapter 6. The moment that changed everything for me. Let me tell you about the day that broke me and then built me. I was sitting alone in a dark room, binge watching a show for the third day in a row. I had bills piling up, dreams collecting dust, and my spirit was drowning. I remember whispering, "Is this it? Is this all I'm going to be?" And I don't know why, but something in me snapped. I stood up. I took a cold shower. I cleaned my desk. I wrote one single sentence on a piece of paper. Do it anyway. That became my mantra. Tired? Do it anyway. Uninspired? Do it anyway. Afraid? Do it anyway. And day by day, my life started changing. Not because I was motivated, but because I stopped waiting to be. Chapter 7. Action breeds clarity. If you're waiting to have it all figured out, stop. Clarity doesn't come from thinking. It comes from doing. You won't know the perfect plan until you walk the imperfect path. So stop trying to map out every step. Just take the first one. Then take the next. Momentum will do the rest. Chapter 9. Willpower is a battery, and it drains fast. We treat willpower like it's some superpower, but in reality, it's a battery, and it drains quickly. Think about it. You wake up late, you're rushed, skipped breakfast, scrolling your phone. You're already using your willpower just to function. By the time it's 4 p.m. and you told yourself you'd work on your side hustle, guess what? You're already out of energy, out of discipline. And your brain says, forget it, let's try again tomorrow. That's why relying on willpower is a trap. You need something more sustainable. You need systems. Chapter 10. Habits are not about success. They're about identity. Let me hit you with a hard truth. If you try to build a habit just to get a result, you will fail. Why? Because once you stop seeing the result, you'll stop doing the habit. But if you build your habits around your identity, that's when the game changes. Let me explain. Don't say, I want to run because I want to lose weight. Say, I'm a runner. That's who I am. Don't say, I want to write a book. Say, I'm a writer. I write every day, even if it's one line. Why? Because when your habit aligns with your identity, you no longer need motivation. It becomes who you are. Chapter 11. Design your environment to win. Want to know the real secret to beating procrastination? Stop fighting your environment, because your environment is either feeding your success or feeding your distractions. Think about this. If your phone is next to you buzzing with notifications, how will you focus? If junk food is on the kitchen counter, how will you eat clean? If your workspace is cluttered, how will you feel clarity? It's not about willpower. It's about making the right choice, the easy choice. Design your environment. Put your phone in another room. Lay out your gym clothes the night before. Keep only healthy snacks in sight. Keep your workspace sacred. Make distractions hard. Make habits easy. Chapter 12. Start small. Master consistency first. Everyone wants to go big. I'll work out 2 hours a day. I'll write 10 pages a day. I'll meditate for 30 minutes. And what happens? You do it for 2 days, maybe 3. Then life hits. You miss a day, and your brain screams, see, you can't stick to anything. You didn't fail because the goal was bad. You failed because it was too big too soon. The key to lasting habits is this. Start so small it's impossible to fail. Push up, minute of journaling, paragraph of reading. You're not trying to change your life in one day. You're trying to build the habit of showing up. Chapter 13, Track It or Trash It. What gets measured gets managed. If you want to build a habit, you have to track it daily. Not to be perfect, but to be aware. Create a simple habit tracker, a notebook, a whiteboard, a checklist on your phone. Crossing that box gives your brain a dopamine hit. It creates a visual cue, a streak, a chain, and you'll want to keep that chain going. But here's the catch. If you don't track it, you won't notice when you've fallen off. Your brain will trick you into believing, I'm doing okay. Until one day, you wake up and realize it's been 3 weeks since you last wrote, worked out, or practiced your skill. Don't trust your memory. Trust your tracker. Chapter 14. The 2-day rule. Now listen carefully. Missing 1 day is a slip. Missing 2 days is the beginning of a new habit, the wrong one. That's why I live by the 2-day rule. Never miss twice. If you skip the gym today, fine. But tomorrow you go, even if it's just for 5 minutes. If you didn't journal today, cool. But tomorrow you write, even if it's just 1 sentence. This one rule has saved more progress than any productivity app ever made, because perfection isn't the goal. Consistency is. Chapter 15, How to Stack Habits. The power of pairing. Want a pro tip? Use something called habit stacking. Attach a new habit to an old one. If I pour my morning coffee, I'll read 1 page. If I finish my lunch, I'll take a 2-minute walk. If I turn off my alarm, I'll say 1 affirmation out loud. Old habits are already wired in your brain. By attaching new ones to them, you build a chain reaction. And suddenly your day becomes a series of momentum loops. Chapter 16, The Battle Between Who You Are and Who You Were. Here's what nobody tells you. Every time you try to change your habits, your old self will fight back. That version of you that was comfortable, that avoided hard things, that stayed in bed, quit early, and made excuses. That version of you doesn't die quietly. It whispers, you've tried this before. You're not consistent. You'll give up like last time. But every time you show up, even in a small way, you prove that voice wrong. You build evidence, you rewrite your story. And soon, your brain starts believing something radical. Maybe I'm the kind of person who follows through. Chapter 17. Choose your hard. Let me leave you with this truth. Everything in life is hard. Waking up early is hard. Sleeping in and feeling behind all day, that's hard too. Working out is hard. Being unhealthy and exhausted, also hard. Building habits is hard. Living with regret, much harder. So don't ask for life to be easy. Ask for the strength to choose your hard wisely. Because every time you choose the hard path now, you make life easier later. Chapter 18. Who do you want to become? Ask yourself this. Who is the version of me I'm building? Close your eyes for a second. Picture it. That version of you that wakes up early, gets things done, speaks kindly to themselves, follows through, and doesn't get derailed by a bad mood or a bad day. What does that version of you look like? How do they walk? How do they speak? How do they treat themselves when they fail? Now here's the punchline. That version of you isn't some distant future. It's just you, without all the excuses. You don't need to become someone else. You just need to remember who you were before the world told you to shrink. That version is still inside you, waiting. Chapter 19. Discipline is a love language. We often think discipline is punishment. But what if I told you discipline is love? Discipline is self-respect. It's saying that I love myself too much to keep living like this. Discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want right now. It's hard in the beginning, but eventually, the things that once felt like punishment, early mornings, cold showers, workouts, silence, solitude, structure, they become your peace. Because discipline frees you. It gives you the power to choose your future instead of living in default mode. Chapter 20, a ritual that changes everything. Here's a tool you can use every single day. A morning ritual, not complicated, just 5 minutes. Ask yourself 3 questions. 1. What do I want to be today? Calm, focused, grateful. 2. What one small thing will I commit to? 3. What's one excuse I will not listen to today? Write it down. Say it out loud. This simple practice anchors your identity, your intention, and your actions. And it keeps you awake in a world that's constantly trying to put you back to sleep. Chapter 21. Transformation is messy, but worth it. If you're in the middle of this battle, I want to tell you something most people won't. It's messy. Some days you'll feel like you're on fire, unstoppable. Other days you'll feel like you're dragging yourself through hell. That's part of it. Change isn't a straight line. It's loops, spirals, crashes, and climbs. But if you keep going, if you keep stacking those tiny wins, you'll wake up one day in a life that feels unrecognizable in the best way. Chapter 22, the final truth. You were never broken. Let me leave you with one truth that breaks every chain of shame. You were never broken. You were just living under a system that taught you to wait. Wait to be ready, wait to be perfect, wait to be motivated, wait until someone else gave you permission. But not anymore. You are the permission. You are the hero. You are the fire starter. You are the revolution you've been waiting for. And today you decide that no matter how unmotivated you feel, you will show up. That no matter how many times you fall, you will rise. That no matter how far you've drifted, you are not done. Chapter 23, a final call to action. So here's your challenge, starting today. Choose one habit, make it ridiculously small, track it, commit to never missing twice, tie it to your identity, and do it anyway. Because motivation won't be there every day, but you will be. And that's all you need. Not perfection, not intensity, not even clarity, just you, doing one small thing today that your future self will thank you for tomorrow. You don't need a miracle. You don't need to be someone else. You just need to make a decision that from this moment forward, procrastination no longer controls your life. That from today you move with purpose, not perfection. That even when the fire inside you burns low, you become the kind of person who keeps walking anyway. Because greatness is not born in motivation. It is born in repetition. It is built on discipline. It is sustained by identity, and it belongs to you. Let's get to work.